So is it fair to say that Biden's the president? Is it official?
I'm paying
I'll go
up.
last. I'll go last.
Yes.
I'm paying up.
So
What do we all owe? What do we all owe here?
So if Biden's president,
for a hunch.
that's one.
Hunch,
That's
two
two.
lunches.
That's three. That's four. That's five.
Hold
You
on.
can't even buy
Hold
one
on, I can't
Bitcoin
even
with all
look
that.
here. I
That's
gotta look
eight.
here.
You can't even buy
That's
any
nine.
Tesla stock.
gotta
That's
go
Nothing.
10
there.
for you. Here you go.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
Pay up on the podcast. Don't
This
ever come back
just
and say
happened.
Pat doesn't pay his.
Patrick Bet David just
All right.
paid me $1,000.
That's $1,000 for you.
Thank you,
Of
Patrick.
all
How does it
fake
feel?
money. Feels good. Feels good.
Is this real or
Feels good,
fake?
man. It's real money.
This
you
is
can
actually
go get
real.
your marker and find out what it is. So you got your money
Save
there.
that money.
But with that being said, obviously Georgia happened, and you got Democrats defeated Ossoff, defeated Purdue, and then you have Warnock who defeated Loeffler. By the way, I have a lot of friends of mine that went to Morehouse. Warnock is a Morehouse graduate himself. Shout out to all my friends who went to Morehouse. This is a very big victory, believe it or not, for Morehouse University because. You know, it's a elite university. They develop leaders, and these types of victories gives a lot of credence and credibility to the university. So, what do you think about what happened with Georgia and what's going to happen now?
Okay, so Georgia's really, really interesting because you watch the fallout from this because a lot of people are blaming Trump. They're blaming Trump for this should have been a slam dunk. This should have at least been a layup for one Republican to be elected in Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, a Democrat hasn't been elected a senator in the state of Georgia since 97. 1997 or 96 was the last time it happened. Now, they blame Trump because all his talk about the election being stolen and voter fraud made a lot of people feel like, why vote? I mean, it's already predetermined. So there's some credence to that argument, and some top Republican officials are really pissed off at Trump, and they blame him for this. Now, there's another side that blames the Republican Senate because they feel if they had approved the $2,000 stimulus checks, if they had gotten those checks for $2,000 out, game over. One of them wins. The other blame game that's going on is Loeffler ran an uninspiring campaign. They weren't really thrilled with what she did. And then Purdue was actually running ads talking about some insider trading situation that he was involved in. So harping on some negative things. So you have the combination of bad campaigning on the ground, the fact that these $2,000 checks didn't get out. It was only $600 because McConnell and his boys prevented that from happening. And then Trump's constant harping on fraud, on fake, on steal led a lot of people to not vote.
We're talking Georgia?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been counting my money for the last. Thank you for that. That's respect. There's no way. There's no way the Republicans should have lost both seats in Georgia. No chance. Like, that is a buffoonery.
Do you agree with him, though, on who's responsible for it?
He said there was a few things responsible.
Yeah, he said Trump.
Yeah.
He said the Senate's because they didn't approve the $2,000. You know, so it's. Do you agree with that?
The $2,000 thing, I think, that came in the last week or so, tail end. But that's important.
Oh, I disagree there because they've been talking about that since the summer.
Not 2,000, bro. They talked about 1,200 at one point. They've been going back and forth on these stimulus for months now. I don't think the 2,000 thing. Trump floated the 2,000 thing himself.
Well, he wanted that. Yeah.
Here's what happened in Georgia. Who's the governor of Georgia? What's his name?
Kemp.
Brian Kemp.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a massive Trump fan.
Yeah.
Trump got him elected. He's been behind Trump the whole time. He ran against Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is a huge voice in Georgia on the left.
Lots of influence.
Lots of influence. Yep. Cool. He's been obviously, because there's been an election there, stoking the flames of what's happening in Georgia. They've had 3 recounts in Georgia. They did a 1-by-hand recount. He still lost. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out, Trump. And again, they're talking about being a sore loser. He lost in Georgia, and he blamed it on Brian Kemp. And you had the Secretary of State of Georgia come out and make an impassioned speech being like, somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get killed talking like this. So when you're talking about a rigged election, you're talking about you need to win these seats in order to take back the Senate. Yeah. And they should have won at least one. Are you kidding me? David Perdue, are you kidding me? And you're saying it's a rigged election. You're having people, the Trump's attorney in Georgia, what's his name? Lynn Wood. You've seen this guy?
Yep.
Coming out basically saying, don't vote unless these senators come out and do something about this rigged election. Like, one thing that you said at the beginning of this was, whether you agree or disagree The Democrats had a unified plan. Republicans have been fractured. Whether it's the Lincoln Party over here or whether it's Trump making fun and picking fights, if there's one thing we understand, if you're going to win elections, you got to be unified. And the Republican Party is not unified right now. Whether you agree with Democrats or not, they were unified behind, we are beating Trump. The Bernie Sanders wing, the AOC wing, the Elizabeth Warrens, they came to the center with the Joe Manchins and the Bidens of the world. And they said, look, we're going to beat Trump. And they've had a unified message. Trump fractured, and look, there's no way that they should have lost frickin' Georgia. And they did.
Okay, so
2
what
seats.
happens now? Let's talk about what happens now. They lost it. What happens now? They own all of it for 2 years.
It should not be like that.
What happens now? Like if you were to say, so you go into the mind of a Democrat, okay? Just go think like you're a Democrat right now. What are they doing right now? What are they doing right now? Which plans are they going after right now?
I don't think that the Democrats are as unified as a lot of people think they are. They have huge fractions right there, and you know, yet your squad and some of those people are really pissed off that they're not included in the cabinet. All eyes to me are on Joe Biden. How are you going to handle this? Are you going to take this advantage that you have and try to ram everything in, or are you going to be a little bit more sensible? I will say this: I was impressed with him yesterday. You know, he was less radical with his statements than Obama. Did you read Obama's reaction to yesterday? I mean, my God. I mean, it was completely over the top.
You saying Biden?
No, Obama. Obama had comments about it
Yeah,
too.
he did.
All the past presidents did. But I thought Biden was measured. Yeah. I thought he was all right. And you know what? So far, look, I'm so grateful that he hasn't put any of these really, really radical lefties in serious cabinet positions or positions of influence yet. So I'm watching Biden to see what he does with this. Don't try to ram every crazy idea that's been floated out there in the next 2 years. Now, the other thing I say is I just give props to our founding fathers because they put a system in place where we can do something about it in 2 years. So I think you got to suck it up and deal with whatever it is that's going to happen for the next 2 years. But you got a chance to make a difference, you know, starting with these House representative elections coming up. But it's Biden, I'm praying that you're a sensible, have a voice of reason.
What will he do,
here.
though? Give me, but by the way, Obama yesterday said, history will rightly remember today's violence at the Capitol incited by a sitting president as a moment of great dishonor and shame out of our nation, but we'd be kidding ourselves if we treated it as a total surprise, is what he said. And Biden said, I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this stage, to this siege. So what's going to happen?
Well,
Go specific plan.
Here's specific meaning.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters right now is getting the economy back and not freaking out about COVID anymore. I mean, as serious as it is, and it's a huge problem, there has to be a legitimate plan to get the country open and running again. You even look at Andrew Cuomo in New York. Now, I don't like him. I don't agree with him. But he's doing some things to open it up. I just saw yesterday the governor of Minnesota, a Democrat, Waltz, opening up bars, opening up restaurants, coming back, having a plan. The worst is California. I live it. I know it. It's terrible. But Biden cannot take advantage of this to put further hindrances on everybody in this country that's already suffering. I think that was a big part of what you saw yesterday, too. A lot of those people that have lost a lot of things and have not, you know, they've lost their job, they have no hope, ran to Washington, D.C. and went a little nuts. But we have crossed a point now where there has to be a plan to get the economy going and figure this thing out.
So your number one is economy. You have to realize, guys, this is deeper than that. The Democrats have a genie now in a bottle, okay? You make a wish. You got a lot of things on your side. House, Senate, and presidency is yours, okay? Have we forgotten about packing a cord?
No.
Have we forgotten about that?
Probably the
Have
first
we
thing
forgotten about capital gains going back up? Have we forgotten about taxes? Have we forgotten about censorship? Have we forgotten about breaking apart companies such as what do you call it? Facebooks of the world? Have we forgotten about what's going to happen with Amazon? Have we forgotten about a federal minimum wage? Have we forgotten about, you know, what's going to be their first thing that they're going to say, guys, let's go get these Obamacare? You know, what's the first thing that they're going to come out and say, let's get these things? Sanctions on China, sanctions on Iran, nuclear. There's a bunch of things that they're going to do. How much is going to get done in the next 2 years?
So I have maybe a different opinion on that. Look, the margins are razor thin. So there's going to be, like my guy Joe Manchin in West Virginia, I don't see him just toting the company line on increasing taxes, or an example, or anything with the Second Amendment or anything like that. So the margins are super thin. I mean, Kamala Harris has the deciding vote in the Senate now.
Everything will be voted on the left with her.
But I don't think it's going to be as 50-50 as is projected. Here's what my concern, because all those things, whether it's taxes, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's minimum wage, whether it's Obamacare, those things will be left to debate. Here's my biggest concern. We all saw what happened in 2000 when the election was delayed, Gore, Bush, Gore, what happened, and then it took Bush, longer than expected to become inaugurated, what happened, and then obviously 9/11 happened. Here's my biggest concern, at least initially. We're hearing rumblings that Iran was trying to fly a plane into the Capitol, right? Our enemies are laughing at us right now. Russia, China.
But what are they going to do?
Okay,
I
so
want to know, what are they going to do?
What my concern is,
tell me,
is that Trump is not going to actually give Biden's team all the information that he would actually need to run smoothly, and that something very ugly can happen.
I don't think that matters.
From a terror.
I don't think that
How
matters.
does that not matter?
I don't think that matters.
How does that not
Let
matter?
me explain to why that doesn't.
Something like 9/11 happens, that doesn't matter?
Let me explain to you why that doesn't matter. Here's why that doesn't matter, okay? America's bigger than one guy. You just have to understand, America's bigger than one guy. When a transition is taking place, all the information of the transition is not on one guy. It's on everybody and the people around him.
I'm
so,
with you on that.
okay, then those guys are going to transfer the information to Biden. Of course. So it's not, this is America.
He's already not holding out. He's already holding information.
He is not everything. The information is not.
He alone can fix it. Remember that.
Again, you're being sarcastic. I'm
I'm
trying to
not.
be serious to your answer.
I'm being
telling
serious.
You,
He said that.
the information will be given to the next guy, Biden. They're going to be all right. I'm not
hope
worried
so,
about
man.
that part. You guys are getting away from the point. Okay, let me ask the viewers. Maybe I'm going to ask the viewers and I'm going to say something else. Look, Dems have it all right now. Gang, they have the Senate, they have the House, they have presidency. What do you think they're going to go after and say, because today they're waking up saying, we got it all. What are we doing? What do we want? Do they go press the court? Right now it's what, 6-3 is on the right? Is that what it is?
On the Paris?
Yeah, no. Supreme Court,
Yeah, it's 6-3.
6-3. 6-3 is scary, and 6-3 is not 5 years. 6-3 is not 2 years. 6-3 is 30 years, 20 years. So a long time, right, that you're looking at. Yeah. So do you go attack that and say, let's bump into 11, let's bump it to 13? Do you go after, a Medicare for all? Do you go after, Second Amendment background checks, heavy, training? Do you go after taxes, raising it? Do you go after, what do you think they're going to go after now? They have to move quickly.
Where do you think they go? What's your biggest concern?
I'll jump into this. Abortion is one thing they're going to hit.
So that means abortion means packing a cord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a priority for them.
There you go. I agree with that.
Well, what do you mean abortion? The Roe versus Wade is already the law of the land.
No. Yeah, but the Supreme Court is 6-3 right now. So if they wanted to kind of make a move, they could.
Right.
But who would make a move? The Supreme Court's not just going to bring up a case.
But the right could bring something up.
They
so
have
for
the
them,
ability
and
to
they're not
stack,
thinking
but they
about
don't
right
have a
now.
majority in Congress, so that's kind of.
They're not thinking right now. I just told you that this is Supreme Court could be like that for 10, 20, 30 years. So it's not. It's more important than presidency. They have to bump it up to 11 or 13 and put 2 or 4 of their own guys in there.
I don't think that's going to be the top priority.
Okay.
I don't.
I hope I'm wrong.
I hope
I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. But
I think they're going to go after some pretty aggressive things because I think they might be thinking in a couple of years things could flip. So I think it's Paris Accord for sure.
Yep.
Taxes are a given. That's already done.
How high will it go?
Well, we already know it's going higher. And then based on their reaction to COVID, we got to keep everybody safe. We got to raise more money to give people more money. They're going to keep going higher and higher and higher. Healthcare. I mean, I think anything that they can get their hands on. He's going to be very ambitious. They always talk about a president's first 100 days. I think they're going to throw some things out there now that they have the handcuffs off and they can basically say and do anything they want. And then they have the media, presenting that message and pounding it home to everybody every single night. They might go a little nuts here in the first 2 years.
Well, I mean, let's just go off what Biden said he wanted to do. Clearly, they're going to re-enter the Paris Accord. Let's talk about what is going to happen, not they may pack the cord, they may do this. He said he's going to re-enter the Paris Climate Agreement. Done.
Sure.
Check that off the box. They're talking about a federal minimum wage increase to $15. I fully disagree with that. Certain cities, sure. Federally, I think that's a horrible move.
It's a scary thought.
Taxes will increase potentially if you make more than $400,000. That's part of his economic plan. Potentially capital gains tax. We talked about that. What I think, and this is a good thing in my opinion, remember when Trump took office in 2016 or early 2017? What's the first thing he did? He went after Obamacare.
Yeah.
He went after Obamacare. And everyone said, what a dumb move trying to go after healthcare when you had a layup going after infrastructure. I think Biden is going to recognize that and he's going to go after infrastructure, clean energy, green. I don't think he's come out and he said he does not support the Green New Deal. He does not support Medicare for all. He's come out and he said that. So Biden has looked, especially with his cabinet positions and especially with his proposals and his positions, he has looked very moderate. I know all the crazies out there think
What's
he's
going to
a
happen with China?
socialist, communist.
What's going to happen with China?
I think he's going to continue what Trump has. He said part of his plan, he's going to continue what Trump is doing with the tariffs, but I think it'll be reassessed, clearly.
I think he's going to do what China tells him to do. I think he's not going to be overly aggressive on doing anything.
What are you
new.
laughing at?
Okay.
No, honestly, what are you laughing at?
I just don't think he's going to do what China tells him to do.
So you think so? Okay, so what does that mean, though? Do you think tariffs are going away with China?
Not anytime soon, no.
What's not anytime soon? It's 30 days, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months?
A couple of years.
When is late? 2 years?
I don't know. Do you think we should keep the tariffs on China?
I do
what
think we
you're
need to
saying?
keep the tariffs on China until China starts giving us the ability to go and investigate what happened with coronavirus in Wuhan. Until
you think China is actually going to give us the ability to go investigate?
yeah, if you want,
China?
if U.S. makes you $500 billion of revenue, of tax revenue that comes your way because of import-export, yeah, of course. We're your number one customer. Yes. We want to know what happens so this doesn't happen again, because if we open up the airports of travel from China to U.S., we want to make sure you don't do that to us again.
So why didn't Trump initiate that already?
What didn't
The
Trump?
investigation into China.
For him to start the investigation in China right now is impossible to do it right now.
Why?
Because it's not done yet.
What's not done?
Nothing's done yet. Nothing's finalized yet with
How do you mean?
coronavirus. Meaning it's...
So you're saying when Corona's done, we'll come in
when this
and,
thing is going through right now and everything, when the dust settles, they have to go do a
so
major
in
investigation.
6 to 12 months from now.
They're
what
going
happens?
back and forth, and the other day China was negotiating of how much the world can come and investigate and do due diligence on what happened with coronavirus. They're negotiating to give you limits on how much limitations you got. That's China negotiating with U.S. right now. They're negotiating with the World Health Organization on the kind of restrictions they want to give you to come and investigate what happened there. Yeah, I do think the tariffs are a bad idea if China's not being held accountable.
Let's talk about a common enemy. And this is something that you've addressed a few times. We got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. Look at us. We have different opinions, but we're talking. We're meeting in the middle. We're dapping each other up. Who are our common enemies that we should be specifically focusing on?
China's number one enemy. China's number one enemy. Iran's got to be up there, and Russia's got to be someone you always have to be careful with.
Anybody
the
that
top
has a
three?
nuclear bomb pointed at us is our enemy.
Yeah.
So
number one.
North Korea, number 4?
I
Who's the top 5?
I think North
China,
Korea's,
Iran, Russia, North Korea.
and one of them I'm going to say is an ally, but you have to be very careful with. That is maybe not an ally. Would be Turkey.
What about the Germans?
I'd be very careful with Turkey.
You know what's
Keep
sad?
them close, but I'd be very careful with Turkey. Turkey's a very, very interesting dynamic right now.
They're part of NATO,
You
but
gotta be
they're
very careful with
they're,
that.
they're aligned with
They're in
Azerbaijan.
bed with the wrong
everything.
people. They're in bed with enemies
they're-
of U.S.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So you got to be careful with them.
Yeah.
Got to be careful with them.
Venezuela. It was sad but ironic when was it Maduro or whoever in Venezuela said, "Look at the United States. Like this is who we're supposed to be taking lead from. Are you freaking kidding me?" When Venezuela is saying that about us,
That's
we've got
pathetic.
to clean up.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.